The movie begins and we see the top of a large trophy depicting a bumblebee triumphantly holding up a torch overlooking an auditorium alive with activity. Parents and their children undergoing final preparations for the big day, the 15 Hours annual regional spelling bee in Columbus, Ohio. Students practicing words, parents fixing their children's collars, or giving last-minute pep talks, all being watched by Guy Trilby as he stands by the complimentary food table listening to classical music. A parent lumbers over and asks Guy which child he is there to support, but Guy tells him that he is not here to keep anyone. Confused, the parent asks Guy if he is the host of the spelling bee. Guy claims he is the winner and gets on stage with the children. Before the competition can begin, the elderly host comments that the seats are only for competitors. Outside the school, Guy is told by the principal that he cannot compete, but Guy argues back that the rules only state that the participants must not have graduated the 8th grade by the date of the spelling bee, which he hasn't. The principal points out that Guy also needs to be sponsored by a nationally recognized media service, and Guy's sponsor, Jenny Widgeon, a writer for the online paper The Click and Scroll. Jenny threatens to file a lawsuit to prevent the competition from continuing without Guy's participation. The principal expresses his disgust but has no choice and has to allow Guy to participate. Guy, 40, single and employed as a proofreader of manufacturer warranties, explains that a few weeks ago he decided to step away from his routine to do this whole thing because his feelings were hurt. And maybe, as he bursts out of the school with the trophy in hand and a mob of parents in hot pursuit, he didn't think this through. He slides across the front of Jenny's car and they drive away as the parents angrily attack the car. Jenny puts down the in-flight meal tray of Guy's seat and places a tape recorder. They're en route to the National Spelling Bee competition and Jenny reminds them of their arrangement. Guy has to answer one question for every round of the tournament he advances through in exchange for her sponsorship. Guy sarcastically rolls his eyes, but Jenny, unhappy with the paltry answers she has been given thus far, wants to know, why is Guy so hell-bent on pissing off parents and crushing the dreams of children by entering this competition? He doesn't answer the question and, frustrated, Jenny storms off to the bathroom. Jenny's barely gone when a small Indian boy in the seat in front of Guy turns around to stare at Guy. The little boy introduces himself as Chaitanya Chopra and happily exclaims that he's also a participant in the National Spelling Bee. Guy, disinterested, tells Chaitanya to point his little curry hole towards the front of the plane or he will tell the stewardesses that he heard Chaitanya's back ticking. Chaitanya laughs before explaining that his parents are in first class but made him sit in the economy because it builds character. Undeterred by Guy's disinterest, Chaitanya asks what Guy's winning word was. The guy claims he can't remember before sarcastically confessing autofellatio. Chaitanya is confused, unfamiliar with the word, and asks for the origin. Guy says, loneliness, and the lady who just went to the bathroom can tell you all about that. Guy and Jenny arrive at the office of Bernice Deegan, the director of the National Spelling Bee. Deegan expresses her anger and disgust at Guy's antics, pointing out that his presence is a disgrace that she has not witnessed in the 20 years in which she has been in charge of the National Spelling Bee. She proudly claims that to get where she is, she has worked hard and with integrity. Guy points out that she doesn't know him or why he is here, but when she demands an answer, he does not answer her. She tells him he is in the wrong place to work out his childhood traumas, but Guy simply replies that he'll be out of her hair in 3 days when he will win. She presents Guy with his accommodations and hands him his participation ID, expressing the regret of Dr. Bowman for not being there to wrap the lanyard around Guy's throat. Guy asks if Dr. Bowman is too busy doing something more pleasurable to another man's throat, but Deegan responds that Dr. Bowman is in the middle of a media training seminar because it is the first year the National Spelling Bee will be televised nationally. Guy feigns shock and heads to his hotel. Guy reflects on the fact that he had every opportunity to stop what he was doing, to quit and not turn this into a big deal, but confesses that it would have taken the lessons that he had never been taught growing up. At the hotel, children walk around with their parents. Guy snags his room key and heads to the elevator. The doors start to close when Chaitanya races through with luggage in hand, just making it in as the doors shut. He excitedly points out that they're both on the same floor no 2, but Guy shrugs him off. No time for shawarma. Chaitanya continues to pester Guy, asking for Guy's favorite word until Guy is forced to say shut the fuck up and walks away, yelling at him to his room in the hotel's storage closet. The receptionist tells Guy that his accommodations are unique and that the hotel is completely booked out. I don't have a bathroom, Guy complains. Yay. His reputation precedes him, it seems. Guy calmly asks where he should put his piss and shit but receives no response. Instead, he heads off to the bar. Jenny joins him and laughs that Deegan has done this knowingly and is sending him a message. Jenny asks about Guy's parents, but Guy tells her to screw off so he can drink in peace. Jenny takes his choice of words to mean that Guy would like to have sex with her. Again. The guy looks at her, amused, and says, "First of all, you're welcome." He asks if screwing off sounds good and tells her all she has to do is ask nicely. The two have sex in Guy's storage closet of a room. As they continue the process, Jenny keeps repeating, "Don't look at me." Guy tries to screw her without looking at her but accidentally makes eye contact, eliciting another scream of "Don't look at me." They finish up and Jenny dresses in a hurry, clearly regretting the entire encounter. After she leaves, Guy notices her panties lie crumpled in a corner of the room. He picks them up and slips them in his pocket when there's a knock at the door. Guy comments that Jenny should take better care to grab her panties before she leaves when he looks down and realizes it is Chaitanya. Chaitanya asks Guy if Guy can help him open a jar of Minibar pretzels. Guy takes the jar and closes the door on Chaitanya, opening up a few minutes later with the open jar and asking about Chaitanya's parents. Chaitanya tells him that his parents are staying in another hotel and that he studied so hard that he missed room service. Guy brushes past Chaitanya and goes straight for the minibar to have a drink. Chaitanya introduces Guy to his friend Todd, Chaitanya's book of words and their origins that he studies nightly. The guy thinks that makes sense, grabs some booze, and starts drinking. Chaitanya asks if fuck is Guy's favorite word and Guy tells him that it is up there. Guy pushes Chaitanya to swear and doesn't stop until Chaitanya says motherfucker. The guy calls him a weirdo and continues drinking. Chaitanya wakes up Guy, who passed out in Chaitanya's chair. He leaves the room a minute before Chaitanya's father leaves the elevator and meets up with Jenny. They walk and talk on their way to the competition and Guy is about to return her panties when she explains he has been placed next to an expert speller, the child of 2 previous winners. As they pass the receptionist's desk, Guy plops a plastic bag on the desk for the woman, a plastic bag full of his shit. Deegan hands the randomized list of words for the round to the MC and angrily tells him that this year he should properly enunciate the words. Guy finds his seat among the children as a reporter introduces Dr. Bill Bowman, the president of the Golden Quill National Spelling Bee. As the first competitor goes up, Guy introduces himself to the boy sitting next to him, but the boy responds that his father told him not to talk to the unemployed bum trying to take the money I deserve. Guy processes this before saying that he understands why his father is angry and hands the boy Jenny's panties. "Can you do me a favor and return these to your mother? She left these in my room last night. I'd do it myself, but your father's here and I don't want to tip the nest. Good luck with that divorce though, they can be quite messy." He is willing to scoop this low for his purpose and does this to damage the morale of the kid. The host calls the boy up to the podium, still holding Jenny's panties and processing what Guy said about his mother. Glancing over at his parents, Guy's trick works like a charm and the boy struggles with his word and misspells them. This leads to him being eliminated from the competition. He storms off the stage and shoves the panties into his mother's hand as Jenny watches, cringing at how her panties were used by Guy. The guy is called up for his word, which he spells correctly. As the reporter and Dr. Bowman discuss the situation, Dr. Bowman exclaims that they are currently going through the process of plugging up the loopholes so that no more stunts like this can ever occur. In Deegan's office, a host of angry parents ridicule her for allowing Guy to participate in the competition. She assures them that if Guy makes it to the finals she will step down as director immediately. Back at the hotel, Guy downs a nip from the minibar. Jenny offhandedly asks Guy what the grammatical significance of "why run from fire ants?" Guy thinks and points out that every vowel is there in order backward. She asks if there are any words in the English language that has every vowel in order and Guy immediately responds with facetious. Jenny tells Guy that those questions were from a test that is given to children who could potentially be geniuses, which his 8th grade assessments confirmed before he dropped out. Guy flips through the papers but tosses them aside, disinterested. He points out that his father was never around when he was a kid, so he never had guidance or direction. Jenny asks who his father is since it could be a genetic gift and Guy confirms it didn't come from his mother, a woman who hated education so much that when he entered, ironically enough, his first spelling bee she burned his favorite dictionary. Jenny asks if that is why Guy is here, to get back at his dead mother. He responds that she has bigger issues than him since she needs to be blindfolded to get off during sex. She swears she won't let him near her even if she were offered $1 million, but a few moments later she's giving him a rim job in the shower. The guy laughs, "I get it now. Don't look at me." The guy leaves her room and sees Chaitanya sitting on the floor outside his room. He asks the boy if he got locked out of his room, but Chaitanya was just waiting to see if Guy would like to get dinner. Guy agrees and they go to the hotel restaurant. Chaitanya happily exclaims that he enjoys the competition and doesn't care about winning, just having fun. Before Guy can respond, one of the competitors' mothers comes up to them and tells Guy he is an insult to everyone who worked hard to get to the competition, calling him nothing more than an asshole. Guy tells her that Chaitanya is a child and that he doesn't speak like that in front of the boy, but proceeds to respond to her aggression with some very bad words of his own. And says she can go back to whatever shit-kicking town she came from. He continues to insult her and then tells her good night. He tells Chaitanya they should go have some fun and takes him out to expose Chaitanya to the wilder side of life, stealing food, drinking, and hiring a prostitute to briefly flash Chaitanya. In the B, Guy actively tries to distract and disconcert his fellow competitors, at one point insinuating that he was sleeping with another contestant's mother. Despite Dr. Deegan's tampering with the word list to give Guy the most difficult words, he spells long, complicated words with relative ease, impressing and angering both parents and staff at the spelling bee, including the event's founder, Dr. William Bowman. However, the parents petition for his disqualification and the resignation of Deegan. While researching Guy's background, Jenny discovers that Bowman is Guy's father. She reveals this to him and he admits that his prime motivation for entering the bee was to embarrass his father in revenge for abandoning him and his mother when he was a child. Soon before the final stage of the bee, Guy overhears Chaitanya and his father discussing his strategy to win, which is to befriend Guy so that he will allow Chaitanya to win out of guilt. Guy storms into the room and ends his friendship with Chaitanya, despite Chaitanya's pleas that he genuinely wanted to be friends. They later sabotage each other. Guy burns Chaitanya's study book, Todd, and Chaitanya files a false police report, accusing Guy of kidnapping a young girl. Meanwhile, only 10 competitors remain in the bee, and the pool is gradually reduced to just Guy and Chaitanya. When a contestant's mother attacks Guy verbally and is subdued by the police on live television, Bowman is forced to intervene, to his embarrassment. Having accomplished his goal, Guy deliberately misspells a word to let Chaitanya win. To prove his friendship, Chaitanya also misspells his word, and they soon begin to argue. This escalates into a physical fight, with Chaitanya first kicking Guy's genitals, much to the shock of the audience, and when Bowman attempts to intervene, Chaitanya accidentally hits him with a chair. Although the bee is briefly halted, Bowman allows it to continue after deciding that both Guy and Chaitanya acted in an equally embarrassing manner. Their standoff of deliberately misspelling words continues until Guy intentionally misspells Chaitanya's word so that Chaitanya corrects him, thus causing Chaitanya to win the bee inadvertently. As Guy leaves, Chaitanya offers to give him half the winnings and names him co-winner of the bee. Guy writes a note to Bowman explaining his actions, which Bowman refuses to read until Guy reveals himself to be his son, and returns home. He resolves his conflict with Chaitanya by buying an old police car from an auction with his share of the winnings and helping Chaitanya to chase down his school bullies. The movie ends.